Hey guys, this is Railroad Kid 1987 here. It's been so long since I've made a video like this, but this is something that needs to be talked about right now. It's hot in the model railroad community. A lot of people are going on about it in different ways, and I just thought that it's time that I address these issues. Let's just get right into it. First off, the first thing I saw that really woke me up was the video from our good friend James, aka JIWII 2000. He's the one that does a lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of tutorials, a lot of video reviews of new products coming out. He does a lot of stuff with Athearn. Great guy. I talked to him. He's just a real awesome guy. He does a lot of video contests and stuff in his videos. Anyway, he came out with this video called Modelers and Manufacturers, and I was looking at it, and he's talking about all the things that he thinks that we as modelers do wrong, and all the things that the manufacturers do wrong, like all the different companies, model railroad companies that are out there. And of course, we're specifically focusing on the HL market, or he was. The other video that struck a chord with me hits a little closer to home because it's related to the big boy, and one of my favorite companies, MTH. As we all know, MTH has their problems, MTH has their faults. But anyway, one of my friends, Maurice, he came out with a video a few days ago and a few hours ago actually, and he was talking about all the problems that he was having with his brand new MTH Big Boy, MTH HO Big Boy. Maurice Smith is his name. He's one of the guys who does the M&M Bros model train layout. Great guy. Check out his videos too. He's really awesome, really great guy. I've talked to him quite frequently in the past few weeks here. And he was also on Trainland or Train World TV, whichever one you want to call it, Trainland. But they got a YouTube page, and he was on there talking about some of the new products that he bought. But anyway, Maurice has his own YouTube channel. Check him out. This video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about both James and Maurice's videos. And topics that I want to cover because they're really both interrelated, and I'm also going to be continuing the Big Boy story. I hope you all enjoyed the video, The Big Boy and Me. It's an audio commentary on why I like the Big Boy and whatnot. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check it out. But at any rate, let's get into the meat and potatoes of what we have to talk about today here. So I want to start off with what James was saying, and I actually took notes for this video that I'm making. I thought it was really interesting. The first thing I want to talk about is the manufacturers, and James was bringing up some really good points. He said that the first thing that he brought up was don't treat the customer like an idiot, and you know what? He's right. At the end of the day, when it comes down to the manufacturers, one of the biggest things that they can do wrong is they can screw up with their customer service. I remember when I called in to have my Big Boy repaired. Yes, I just got the MTH Big Boy. I've had two models. If you guys don't know the story, this is how it went. I bought two models. Not two separate models. I bought one model, but I had to send the first one back to Scott because it was just horrible, you guys. The coal load literally disintegrated as soon as I took it out of the box. There were holes all inside of the coal load. There was a spring underneath between the boiler and the rear drive wheels that was just broken. There were some mechanical issues. I had a problem. It's called, Maurice is telling me, it's called shuttering. So basically, when the wheels reach a certain spot, or the pistons reach a certain spot in the revolutions, basically the locomotive will stop, and then it'll go, and then it'll stop, and then it'll go, and then it'll stop. Normally, with steam locomotives, this is corrected by running the model, continuously. Keep running the model with the load behind it, what have you. But the thing is, mine wasn't getting any better. And I noticed that I was not the only one who had this problem with this new run of Big Boys. The first run of Big Boys and the second run of Big Boys didn't have this problem, but this new run, this third run of the MTH HO Big Boys seems to be having a huge problem. So anyone who's looking to get an MTH HO Big Boy, watch out. And I got number 4018. Maurice got 4005. It doesn't really matter which road number you get; they're all bad. And I suggested you check out Maurice's video because he goes into depth about what was going on. But anyway, that's the big boy story right now. I had to send like I said, I sent the first one back to Scott. Scott sent me a new one, and then I checked that out, and it was still having some of the same problems. Like, there weren't a lot of pieces that were broken and beat up, but it was just that shuttering problem. It got on my nerves, and it just was not getting any better. So what I did was I called up MTH and I told him, I said, look, I've had 2 locomotives, and they both have had the same problem. Like, what's going on here? And the guy at the other end of the phone, this all goes back to that treating the customer like an idiot thing. The guy on the other end of the phone's like, well, I'm sorry, sir, but I don't know what to tell you. I guess you just had a streak of bad luck. I'm thinking, look, damn it, for $500, you don't give me bad luck. Okay, I'm sorry, but there's no such, that's bull. There's no such thing as $500 worth of bad luck. I didn't pay $500 for a damn paper rate. All right, certain things you should expect to work when you get the model, but we'll get more into detail with that later. Anyway, definitely do not treat the customers like they're complete idiots. I have to agree with James 100% on that one. That was probably the first bad experience I've had with MTH. Up until that point, I've had great experience. My Mikado that I have, it was actually out of warranty, and I called up MTH and I asked them how much it was going to cost to send the locomotive in. I described the problem to them. They said, look, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and send it in. We'll take care of it for you. No big deal. And I thank the gentleman that I talked to, and I've talked to him quite a few times. His name is Brian. He works there in customer service. There's he and another guy named Don. Don is the one that Maurice talked to, and Don is actually, I found out yesterday today I found out that he's the one who actually does the repairs there, which I found very interesting. But like I said, we're gonna get more into him and all that stuff later too. Anyway, that was the first point that James brought up. Don't treat the customers like they're complete idiots. There's nothing that turns me off more than when I'm trying to express an issue or a problem that I have and you try to sweep it under the rug like it's no big deal. No, okay, I am a customer. I swear I have sworn by MTH products, okay? I have sworn by them until this point. With the last MTH product that I bought, I was very disappointed. I mean, you guys know, anyone who's been following me for the past 4 years I've been on YouTube, it's been all about the big boy. I've been talking about the big boy for so long. I finally get it, and then I have to send it back, and I'm still waiting on it. It's been 2 months. It's been since before the big boy and me video, I think, that I bought the dang thing, and I had to send it back. So I'm very disappointed with how this new batch of locomotives turned out, and it might be because of the new factory that they're working in overseas. I don't know, but the quality control is just not there. And the thing is, I wouldn't be saying this if it was, excuse me, if it was just my model. It's everyone's. Every single person that I've seen with these new run of big boys, they've had the exact same shuttering problem. Every single one. Maurice had it. There's another gentleman on YouTube, I can't remember his name right now, but he bought one, and then I'm getting these problems. It's just rather ridiculous. I have no idea what the heck MTH is doing over there, and it's very frustrating. Anyway, the second point that James made for the manufacturers was the customer service side of things. I pretty much talked about that. If the customer is having a problem, you're supposed to be there to try and help them, not be like, I'm sorry, but you just had bad luck. Actually, it's basically like this. I'm sorry you just spent all your hard-earned money, sir, but quite frankly, I just don't give a damn, and you're shit out of luck. You're just gonna have to deal with your broken product, and there's nothing I care to do about it. As a matter of fact, you might as well just go ahead and burn that warranty card that you have in your box, because I'm not going to even offer to help you. And that's what happened. The guy didn't even offer to help me. He didn't say, okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that, sir. You know what we can do? What we can do is we'll go ahead and we'll send it in. If you want to send it in, we'll go ahead and take a look at it for you. Let me go ahead and get your warranty registration information set up, and also get you an RA number, and just send that right to us. No, he didn't do that. I had to go through 9 miles of bad road before I actually got to that point, and it was very frustrating. Dealing with MTH. That's the first time I had problems, and you know what? I don't want to blame MTH. It's the guy that they hired there. I think the gentleman's name is Nick. If you guys call up MTH for any customer service problems, either ask for Don or ask for Brian. Okay, those two guys I know are really good. Brian's really great. He's the one that actually allowed me to get my Mikado fixed out of when it was like about a week or two out of warranty. But I think they did that because they took 2 months to get my Alco PAs fixed. Another story. Anyway, on to the modeler side of things. This is where more or less James and I disagree on a couple things. I respect his opinion, but I disagree on a couple of things that he was talking about. The first was how modelers want high quality, but they want a low price point. He was saying that that's not very practical. When in actuality it is. See, the thing is, when these companies they come out with these products, they mark these suckers up really high. I mean, I'm talking about ridiculously high. If you ever pay retail for a model, you're doing something wrong. There is no reason for a modeler to ever pay the retail price. For instance, I've used this example 100 times. My Y6B, which retails for close to $600, around $550, I picked it up for literally $200 less than the retail price, and with shipping it was an additional $30. So what was it? About $385. That's how much I paid for my Y6B. It's a steal. You know, you can go to train shows and pick up locomotives around new locomotives around that price. It just depends on where you go. I know that $385 might sound like a lot of money, but when you're talking about how much these models are normally priced, that's $200. That's a whole lot of freight cars. That's another engine in your arsenal. You know that you do as a modeler, you have to find ways to save money. You know, there's $385 for a locomotive like that. That's not really that expensive, considering that the MTH Big Boy, I would consider that and the Y6B to be around the same level of detail, same level of quality. The sounds are phenomenal in both. You know, $385 for that model, I cannot complain with that price. That is more than fair, honestly. And I got that from my man Scott. He gives me the greatest deals on all my locomotives. I really, honestly, unless it's eBay, and if Scott doesn't have it, then I go on eBay to buy it. But he carries MTH, Broadway, all that good stuff, you know. So I more or less buy the majority of my products from him. But like I said, it depends on where you go. So to say that it's unreasonable for the modeler to expect high quality and a low price point, you know, I don't think that's really fair to say. It depends on really what you consider to be a high or a low price point, I guess. For me personally, that $385 isn't really that bad. I don't really know what you would. I don't really know what to expect as far as going much lower than that. You know, I think James gave the example. He's really into the Norfolk Southern Heritage units. He was talking a lot about those, and I think he was talking about Bachmann was selling them for like around 160, and Athearn was selling them for about 240, somewhere in that area. And he was saying that Athearn, because they're more expensive, you know, the reason why they're so expensive is because of their high quality, whereas a company like Bachmann, they've got lower quality, so you don't expect them to be as good, so you know their prices are going to be way lower. Well, way I look at it, you could get both those locomotives for lower than what those prices are. If you go to the right dealer, if you go to the right places, you look online, you have to know how to shop around. There's no reason for a modeler to ever pay retail. And you can still, you know, I know a lot of people like to support their brick and mortar hobby shops, but the thing is, the brick and mortar hobby shops are going to be charging me an additional $200. It's hard for me to support them, honestly. And I know that a lot of people might consider that as harsh, but I'm in it for the deals. All the modelers are in this to have the most enjoyable experience. The way I get the most enjoyable experience out of this hobby is to purchase a product that is well put together at a reasonable price. And the more products I can buy, the more enjoyable the experience is for me. And I think it's that way for most people for this hobby, because you're continually expanding, you're constantly growing, it never stops. So the more stuff you can buy, the more enjoyable it is. But with that being said, you can buy more stuff with more money, and you can have more money if you save more. That's what it's all about, saving money, knowing where to go, knowing how to do deals at train shows, knowing what stores to purchase from, you know, stuff like that. This also I want to this next thing I want to talk about. James talked about wanting an engine to be perfect. And to an extent, I do have to agree with him on this. Modelers are very nitpicky. If a certain panel or a certain flange or something is out of place, or these rivet counters, they if a certain piece is just not exactly how it is in the prototype, then oh my god, it's just like the end of the world. It's just, I mean, look, we all have our perspective, we all have our opinions, we all have, preferences in this hobby. I understand that. But to a certain extent, things can get a little nitpicky. Now, where I don't think the modeler is nitpicky is where you buy a product like of, I don't know, a $500 big boy. You expect the damn thing to work out the box, and it has a shuttering problem. Things like that, those are concerns, okay? It's not a matter of expecting the engine to be perfect. I just expect the damn thing to work, okay? The cold load that it disintegrated, I could have dealt with that. The scratches that were on the paint job, the locomotive, I could have dealt with that. But when my locomotive doesn't run properly, then you've caught my attention. Then we have something that we need to address here, because that's wrong. You can't go. No one, anyone who pays that much for something, even if it's $300, $200, whatever the price, if you're paying this kind of money for something, you expect this crap to work. I know sometimes it doesn't, fine, but in the case of the big boys, which is going to be my primary example for this video, when every single locomotive in this run has been a complete pile of junk, then we have a problem. Then we have a quality control issue. We should not have that problem. MTH should have the common sense to know that their customers are going to want locomotives that run well. All right, it's one thing to where they get the paint job wrong, different from the prototype, something like that. And to an extent, I can still understand why certain modelers are upset. But things like that, if you're really into it, you could fix it yourself. You could paint over. I know you shouldn't have to, but like James said, sometimes these things happen, and I'm understanding too. Sometimes locomotives don't work the way I want them to work. For instance, you guys have only seen this locomotive once. This is my limited edition MTH Tuscan Red K4, which I'll be doing a review of at some point in the future. I don't know idea when. This was never ran, really. I guess I had 3 minutes of runtime before I bought it, so it's basically brand new. Obviously, I just said it's an MTH product. And the amount of work that I had to put into this dang thing to get it running was absolutely ridiculous. You guys have no idea the amount of stress it caused me to get this shredder. It literally took me about a month. That's why you guys haven't really seen any videos of it. It's when I first got it, it took me a month to fix the thing. Part of it was because of my fault. Yeah, I literally took the whole train apart. Everything, I took this whole thing. I had wires, everything hanging out. The whole locomotive was just, I'd rip it apart because I lost a screw in that, what screw was it? It was one of these that connects to the, I can't even think of the word right now, to the side rods. One of the screws that connects to the side rods, I believe it was this one right here. It fell back into the cab, and I was like, oh god. So I had to take the whole thing apart, and it was stuck in the motor, actually, which I found interesting. But anyway, what I was trying to do is I was trying to put the traction tires on. After I had found the screw, got everything back in place, and I put the traction tires on, I ran the locomotive, and it had a wobble. It took me a month to figure out why I had that wobbling problem. It was because that the set of traction tires that I had that came with the locomotive, they were bent. They had a kink in them somewhere, because when we took the traction wheel set off, and when we rolled them down a slight decline on the surface, we noticed that there was a lump in it, a little wobble. I was like, oh boy. So that was why I was having so many problems. I put the old set of wheels back on, perfect, got some bullfrog snot, slapped that on there, sucker can pull like crazy now. I was real happy. But the thing is, what I'm saying here is that there are certain things that I can deal with like that. That should not have happened, okay? The wheels should not have been bent like that. I should be able to just take the train out the box, slap those wheels on. As a matter of fact, the traction tires probably should have already been on the locomotive. I shouldn't have to take those. I shouldn't have to put them on myself. But I digress. Certain things shouldn't happen. Understandable. But you know what? Because of that, I learned quite a bit about my steam locomotives, how to take them apart, and I'm a better modeler for it. You know, sometimes you got to take some of these negative things that happen and turn them into positives. But in the case of the big boy, there are no positives from that. I've been waiting for almost, I think it's almost been 3 months, because I think it was September that I got the locomotive. I was waiting 3 months for the train to get fixed. And I guess Don has been doing everything in his power to fix the locomotive. And he's into the final stages. He's going to try one more thing, but I'll talk about that a little bit. But anyway, modelers, when it comes to wanting a perfect model, we all do. We all want the perfect model, but sometimes it's just not going to happen. If it's something that's a mechanical failure, you should be upset. But if it's something like maybe a paint defect, or maybe the company just didn't, this air vent is a little bit 3 centimeters to the left, and the prototype was 3 to the right. It's nitpicky stuff. Some things you can do. Who the heck is going to notice that? Really, unless you're really paying really close attention to the locomotive. You're not gonna notice that kind of stuff. You go to a train show, you run this, you have friends come over to your house, you run trains on your layout. They're not going to notice that. Even my problem with the locomotive wobbling, most people aren't gonna notice that. It bugs the heck out of me. That's understandable, but that's a mechanical failure. There's certain things, but like air vents and just little paint defects on the prototype, stuff like that. That's either fixable or you can just deal with it. But as modelers, even myself included, sometimes I just need to stop being so nitpicky. I'm not the perfect modeler by any stretch of the imagination. The third thing that James brought up that I found was very interesting was don't give one company a break and be hard on another one. This is where I'm split between in myself with this. I'm not really sure how I stand for this reason. James gave probably one of the best examples you could give. He gave the example of Bachmann compared to Ather. Now, guys, look at me. Okay, look at me real quick. All right, there is no comparison. We all know that Ather makes the better product, and we all know that if Ather screws up, we're going to be on Ather's butts. But we know if Bachmann screws up, well, it's only a Bachmann. For instance, this locomotive right here. This was one of my first few steam locomotives I had with sound. This is the third or fourth one I got. Bachmann 280. Everybody has one of these. These are one of the most common Bachmann models out there. Mine was broken out the box, but it was a Bachmann. So you know what? I dealt with it. I got it fixed. Big whoop. It's not like oh, I don't know, when my MTH Mikado broke. Like when this sucker went out of commission, my heart sank. Like this was probably still is this is probably my favorite steam locomotive that I own, just because of the simple fact it's fun to run. It sounds great. You can do freighter passes. It's just phenomenal. Okay, it's not my favorite locomotive, but god dang it, it's up there because it is just fun. If you don't own an MTH Mikado, seriously look into getting one of these suckers. These things are fun. F-U-N, man. F-U-N. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. But at any rate, here's the deal. The reason I believe that we give certain companies a break and other companies a hard time is for the simple reason that, god dang it, we pay crap tons of money for products from MTH and Athearn and Broadway Limited, and here's Bachmann over here. They have a nice product, but they don't touch any of these other guys. Think about it like this, okay? MTH. The average price point of one of their steam locomotives with DCC and sound, you're looking anywhere between $300 to $600. Okay, Bachmann's, they don't have smoke. They do have nice sound. They have the tsunamis, but their sound quality is not up there with MTH. It's not up there with Broadway Limited, and the detail is definitely not there. I mean, I know a lot of people hound on MTH, but by golly, they have some fantastic sounds. The big boy, best sound, probably some of the best sounds I've heard, period in the HO market for the big. Actually, is the best sound I heard in the HO market for the big boy. The new Athearn Big Boy that just came out, it's a nice runner up. It's god dang it, it's second runner up there, and the detail's phenomenal too. They're both pretty close in detail. But think about it this way: if Bachmann were to come out with a big boy, we wouldn't get that excited. Face it. It's like, oh, that's different. Oh, Bachmann's got a big boy. That'll be interesting to see how they screw this one up. That's how we normally take it. How is Bachmann gonna screw this one up? How are they going to rape my childhood with whatever train that they're coming out with next? that's honestly how a lot of modelers view Bachmann. No, don't get me wrong. They have some nice products. They're great for the modeler that's new to the hobby, that's coming into it. But for the more experienced modeler that wants something that's really robust, that's gonna pull well, that's gonna last a long time, that's not gonna have a lot of issues, that sounds great, is really prototypical, you're gonna go for more of maybe the Athearn or the Broadway Limited. MTH has their problems too with locomotives being prototypical. Certain detail parts aren't in the right place and all that and whatever. But personally, I don't get into that too much. At any rate, Bachmann's locomotives, their price points, like my 280, that was about $160 with the sound. You're looking between $160 and maybe $400, maybe $400. If you're paying $400 for a Bachmann, there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry, but I just don't see it. You can find Bachmanns anywhere for ridiculously cheap. It's just the way you go on eBay. Look, tons of reputable dealers online. They're practically giving you these things away. But I think that's the reason why we give certain companies a break where we don't give other ones, because of how much we pay, and that makes a big difference. That's it all has to do with the quality. We know that Bachmann's quality has not been up to par like some of these other companies. A lot of these, like Broadway. I have to say, Broadway, out of all the companies, they stand behind their product 100%. Unlike MTH, Broadway has a 2-year warranty. MTH has a 1-year warranty, and most of the time, people don't even run their MTH locomotives because they're afraid they're going to break as soon as they take them out the box. Sorry, flashbacks. Anyway. It's just you when you're comparing the different companies and you're looking at the price points of the different locomotives, the companies that have the more expensive engines, those are the ones that we expect more of. It's just like school, okay? We have, you've got your A students, your B students, and your D students, and you got your flunkers over there in the back row, okay? The students that produce the best quality work are the ones that are expected the most out of them. And that's why the teachers are harder on them. Okay, me being an A student in college, I was always expected to do really great by my teachers. Whereas there were other people they didn't really expect too much from, and they would just flaunt them off to the side. But the thing is, god dang it, when we are hard on you, that means we care. We love your products, and we want our crap to be right, by golly, okay? The reason why I'm so hard on MTH is because I bragged about them so much. I had every single product I had by them was fantastic, up until the big boy. No, okay, I lied. Up until the Alco PAs. Once I got the PAs, it was downhill from there. I got the PAs, those screwed up, then I bought the K4, and then that was screwed up, and then I bought the big boy, and good lord, I'm just so disappointed. I mean, you wait 3 years for something, and then you get that? You just imagine how I feel right now. My baby is out there on the east coast of the country getting worked on right now. I'm terrified. I'm so scared. And I have to hear they might not be able to fix it. This is horrible. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. But that's why. I need to stop going off attention. That's why. It's because the companies that produce the higher quality products, the ones that cost us the most money, the ones that look the nicest, those are the companies that we're going to be the hardest on because we expect the most out of them. And we should. We don't expect much from Bachmann because they don't produce much. Their quality is low. Their detail is, it's nice. Don't get me wrong, that 280 has some really nice detail, but it's nothing like what Broadway Limited would come out with, or what MTH would come out with, or what Athearn would come out with. Not even close. But that's just the way that is. And I guess that covered topic number 4 was that everyone has different standards. Understandable. We all have different standards in this hobby, and I understand that. I might disagree with someone on a lot of things, but I understand that we all have our personal preferences. A lot of people don't like MTH. I love MTH, even though they screwed over my favorite locomotive that's been near and dear to my heart, and I've always wanted my entire life. Even though they've completely wrecked my experience with that locomotive, I still love MTH. I love their products. You know, they still come out with a great product. And the thing is, I think people are really hard on MTH where they don't have to be. Yes, I admit MTH needs to do something. And this is the last thing I really wanted to talk about. This is the main thing, and Maurice was talking about this in his videos. But it's just that here's the deal with MTH. They have, we all know they have their proprietary system. They have DCS. But the thing is, their newer locomotives, the ones that have the Protosound 3E plus, they're actually doing some things where you'll be able to program the locomotives better than you could with just a normal Protosound 3.0. They are evolving. They are actually listening to us. When I looked at Maurice's video today, I was very impressed by what I heard because he sat down, he talked, and this goes back to the customer service thing we were talking about earlier. But he sat down, he talked with this Don guy. Don is the technician there, and Don sat down. He, like Maurice said, he sat down there. He explained everything. He tried to answer every one of Maurice's questions to the best of his ability. You know, he was asking, well, why is it that these locomotives are coming out like this? Why is it that we're having these kind of problems, or why is it that this instruction manual, the newer instruction manuals are coming out with locomotives that have the older technology in them, and stuff like that. And he said, well, Maurice, well, it works like this, sometimes the quality control at the factory, it's messed up, or I don't know why they're not sending the older manuals out, but here's where you can go get the older manuals to learn how to program the locomotives. And the other thing, you guys, the MTH locomotives there are ways to get around all the little programming blocks that you have. Yes, it's difficult, but you have to be willing to work with your model. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people get frustrated, throw the train up in the air, and leave it to the side. What I have to say about my good friend Maurice is that he worked on his train for hours trying to figure out what the problem was. He stuck to it diligently, and he figured his stuff out. That's what I like. I'm the same way when it comes to if my stuff isn't working, I don't go and set it off to the side. I have to figure it out. Okay, I need to know, why isn't this train working? Why is it not accepting the address? Why is there a shuttering problem? Why is there a lump in my locomotive? Why is it wobbling like this? You have to sit down and take time with your trains. You really need to pay attention and look at them and see and think about, why is it that they're not working? Because this is going to happen. Not every model is going to be perfect. We can't expect that. Certain things, yes, we should expect them to be. Certain things should be right out of the box, but there are going to, over time, certain things are just going to happen. The trains are going to break. These things are made out of plastic and metal. Okay, these things are going to deteriorate over time. None of these things are permanent. None of them are going to last forever. Okay, they do require maintenance. They're like the real things, and they're like the real trains out there. They take time. You got to work on them. As far as programming your locomotives and things like that, I think what I would like to do is I would like to make another tutorial video on how to program your MTH locomotives. That way, anyone who's thinking about getting an MTH locomotive, they don't have to be so scared. They can just go to the video and they can just look at how to program and reset their locomotives, do whatever they need to do. According to Maurice, what he was saying was that the new locomotives, the new MTH, the Protosound 3E pluses, they have more something there. It's along the lines of more memory or more data, to where they can save more of the CVs. So before they had, I forget the term that he used, but I'm gonna just use this for lack of a better word because I'm just ignorant in that subject. But it's like it's kind of, let's use megabytes for an example. Okay, it was like the older ones had 1 megabyte of memory, and now the newer runs are going to have 4 megabytes. So you got 4 times the memory that you had before, and it's not megabytes. I have no idea what it is. I forgot the word that he used. So Maurice, I know computers are your profession, so please don't kill me. But the thing is, I see MTH improving. That's my whole point of this. They are doing things to improve the hobby. I've even asked them questions on their Facebook page. Do you guys plan on doing this in the future? Do you plan on having it to where we can load the different sounds that we want onto our locomotives so they all don't sound the same? And they even told me, yes, it's possible in the future that we will have something like that. And I can see them doing that. They did that for the O scale locomotives. I don't see why they wouldn't do it for the HO market as well. I remember who was it? Eric. Eric's Trains. When I first found him on YouTube, he was showing the tutorial on how to change the sounds of any locomotive to any different locomotive you want. Like he took an SW2 switcher and he put like the big boy sound effects in it. Crazy stuff like that. I don't see why MTH, if they've done it in no skill, I don't see why they wouldn't do it in HO as well. Anyway, you guys, I've been rambling on quite a bit. There are probably a lot of points that I said I was going to cover that I didn't, and if that's the case, I apologize. But there's just so much. It's such a broad topic. But I think I covered really the main points and the essence of this topic and this debate. In my opinion, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, MTH is still a really decent company. I will still be doing business with MTH. Did you guys see the new Alleghenies that are coming out next year? Oh my gosh, so excited. And I'm debating on whether I'm going to get the MTH H10 or the Broadway Limited H10. It depends on what the MTH one sounds like, because the Broadway H10 has the same chef sounds as the 3 other locomotives that I have from Broadway, and you guys know I am about the chuffing. I don't even need to go into that right now. But anyway, guys, I've been talking long enough. Please thumbs up this video. Leave some comments down below. Let's get this discussion. Let's get the ball rolling. Fantastic videos by both of my good friends, James and Maurice. Thank you guys for watching. All my subscribers out there. As always, peace. God bless. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you all later in my next video. See you guys soon.